Hello everyone. Today I want to go over the net worth template in Numbers. Now, the net worth template has 3 tabs. The first is the overview, then assets and liabilities. Now, in each tab at the top, they have an explanation of what that spreadsheet does. So, for example, here on the net worth overview, this tells you that this is going to give you 2 sheets, one for total assets, one for total liabilities, and you'll see you have long and fixed assets, liquid assets, personal items on your total assets, and then your total liabilities, long-term liabilities, short-term liabilities, and then it calculates your net worth, subtracts one from the other, and there's your net worth. In the assets tab, it tells you here how to use this. The sheet calculates the value of all assets. Enter the current value of your fixed, liquid, and personal assets in the tables provided. Change rows or add rows, or new ones rather, to describe your assets. So what they've given you here is if you tap on the first one, large and fixed assets, you'll see that you have 5 rows and 2 columns, basically. One for a description of the asset, one for the value of the asset. On the left-hand side, you'll see those 2 equal signs. You just hold on that, drag it down, and you can add rows. And all of the format will be provided for you. And so what you want to do here is any large asset that you have, for example, they have home, and the value is at $400,000. So you would put that home in. A car they have for $62,000. Second car, $10,000. Let's say if you wanted to add one, you say, well, I have a boat. So you would put in and just put in boat. And the boat is worth, let's just say, $25,000. Now that gets added into your total assets. And any other items. Now, keep in mind, for assets, these are large and fixed assets. So your home, things like that, things that cannot be turned into cash quickly. Now, things like, don't forget life insurance, car insurance. Insurances are typically considered assets, but they may not fall under the category of large or fixed. They would probably be under, you may want to list them under personal assets, or I don't know that they would be, well, maybe liquid assets, whatever. So if you go to liquid assets, and again, you tap on that table, you can add rows just by sliding down with those equals, okay? So here we have a checking account, and they have an amount in, a savings account, 12-month CD, retirement account, investment portfolio. So if your investment portfolio, let's just say, for example, this says $13,007. Let's make this $45,000. All right. Your retirement account, maybe you're 40 years of age or whatever, so maybe it's $85,000. So you're just going to plop in whatever amounts you have. Your savings account, maybe instead of $3,000, you may have $15,000 in there. Your checking account, usually people keep a smaller amount in their checking accounts because it's more fluid. That's what you use to pay your bills and things of that nature. So what it then does is, of course, it calculates your total liquid assets. Now, over in the personal items, this is where it could get, depending upon, each person, of course. You want to add a couple of rows, whatever you want to do. Notice it has engagement ring, diamond earrings, antique armoire, paintings. For perhaps you may have wristwatch collection. Let's say it's worth $15,000. If you're a musician, you have equipment, and we're going to say roughly $25,000. you're going to list all of your personal items that you consider an asset. Now, keep in mind that a lot of this stuff will be worth X today, and depending upon what it is, may decrease or increase in value depending upon what it is. And each year, when you do this, you're going to increase that value. So here you have the three sheets: large and fixed assets, your liquid assets. Those are typically things that you're going to be able to get your hands on money quickly. Now let's go to liabilities. So in liabilities, you have long-term liabilities, which are typically considered long-term loans. For example, like your mortgage, maybe a 15, 30-year mortgage, student loan, car loan. They have a car loan 1, car loan 2 here. So let's adjust these a little bit. Your mortgage, let's say your mortgage is $350,000. And your student loan, well, we can leave that. Car loan 1, 52. Of course, this will decrease each year. The liability will decrease. And if you go over to your assets, car 1, car 2, you have to remember that your car value will decrease over time as well. The whole idea of your net worth, it is a picture of a point in time. So you're going to list all of your long-term liabilities. Now, your short-term liabilities, they've only listed credit cards here, but you may want to put in here, like we were talking about life insurance. Life insurance is considered an asset, but the cost of that life insurance would be a liability. So I would put that under short-term liabilities. Okay, so you could put in here cost of insurance, right? Let's say $1 million policy for a male, average age 30, is going to cost you about $87 a month. So we're talking about $1,044 a year. So let's just say $1,100. So now that becomes a short-term liability. But back on your assets, you could do it as a large or fixed asset. And you have $1 million policy. And again, you got to keep in mind that the liability is costing you $1,100 a year. And if it's a term policy, it'll be for a specific period of time. And at the end of that time, then there's no value to that life insurance policy. It's only the liability that has been expended over the course of time that you've lost. So you can also put in here short-term liabilities like utilities, okay, things of that nature. So you really have to think about what you want to put and in what category: short-term liabilities or long-term liabilities, mortgage insurance, all of those types of things. You may want to put a category in there for you have a, maybe you took out a short-term loan for home repairs. All of that kind of stuff you have to factor into your liabilities and your assets. If you take a loan out for home repairs, then of course that's going to increase the value of your home asset. So you have to kind of offset that. Now, off to the right here, you have a chart, a bar chart, long-term liabilities, short-term liabilities. And it just calculates those totals and gives you the graph. The assets, you have much the same. And it then shows you your large and fixed assets is 86%. Your liquid assets are 9%. And your personal items are 5%. You go back to your overview. Large and fixed assets is $1,004,000. Liquid assets, $158,000. Personal items, $93,000. And down at the bottom, you have your stacked bar graph. Total liabilities, the same as stacked bar graph. And then it calculates your net worth at that point in time as $1.3 million. Point I want to get across here, this is a very easy spreadsheet to use. You just have to allow for some thought to list in each of the tabs the assets and the liabilities, all of the items that pertain to your particular life at this point in time. If you have any questions, please let us know, and we'll see you next time.